Welcome back to my live stream, my YouTube channel. This is Jacob Cast 2024. Hit that like button, leave a comment. Please subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comment section below. Enjoy this video. Enjoy the live stream, the review. We're gonna do a WWE Backlash 2026, the PLE. This 5-match card. Enjoy this video. Hit that like button, please. Subscribe to my channel. This video was sponsored by PlayStation. It was sponsored by the Fight for Pro Wrestling, Salamander Sound Dog, JD from New York, and other podcasters and YouTubers that I know of. We are going to talk about the show. We'll go into some of the news and rumors in the wrestling community. Right now, we're going to talk about this show. The show was pretty good. The show was decent. Only a 5-match card. Man, the 5-match cards, they're not helping. Every through a 6 or 7 matches, only 5 matches on the show. Well, only 5 matches. We did get John Cena on the show. He announced the John Cena Classic. We'll get into that. Io Sky versus Asuka on a very good match. Is Asuka done? We had Miz and Kit Wilson versus Danhausen and Minihausen. So it wasn't Jelly Roll or CM Punk. It was Minihausen, the younger version of Danhausen. And we had the other Minihausen that helped them win this match. More Minihausens emerged from the clothing machine and helped Danhausen beat the Miz and Kit Wilson. Trick Williams, Sami Zayn for the U.S. title was a very good match. The opener, we had a pretty good opener with Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. Alright. Might be able to get into some of this, man. Now here's the post show for Backlash in Tampa, Florida. What you got to hear? Who's on it? Hold on. Oh, whoop, my bad. God damn it. Hold on, I'm trying to show y'all, want y'all to hear the post show. God damn with the goddamn commercials, man. Now let me know in the comment section below what y'all think about this pay-per-view. I thought we had a great opener, a pretty good U.S. Championship match. Io Sky and Asuka was great. The tag team match was whatever, thought kind of silly, kind of like a joke. The Miz and Kit Wilson have no business being on pay-per-view. Another tag team match with nothing on the line. It's just for comedy and for entertainment because of Danhausen doing the comedy with the mini Danhausens. But they could put that on Raw or SmackDown. And then the main event was very good with Jacob Fato and Roman Reigns, a very good match. Reigns is still a world champion. Hold on.
And Big E. So Roman Reigns retains, but that's really not the whole story. And instead, Jacob Fatu had to have his fingers literally pried from Roman's neck multiple times.
I hate to say I told you so, but Wade Barrett and I sat on SmackDown the night Jacob Fatu appeared for the very first time in WWE, and we were petrified about who this man is.
Oh, come with it. Huh? When's the last time y'all see somebody like me crash out on WWE? Hey, nobody. Hey, it ain't how you start, it's how you finish. And at the end of the day, get the camera, man. Look at Roman. His punk ass just realized I'm on gas. No break with it. You know what I mean? 5, 2.
What do you think of what Jacob Fatu?
To Hurricane, to Adam Pearce. He wasn't my point. Once in a blue moon.
So that was after the match was over. He attacked the security and continued to beat up Roman Reigns.
Usually this is a great island of misfit toys. Jacob just proved tonight he can hang physically. basically in the main event with the best of the best. Jacob Fatu does not know how to conduct himself like a WWE superstar.
Which tells me that you are right.
Really put Rollins out for good, but just in case. Lately.
Wait, so Rollins was in the press
For
conference.
years, it's gotten to the point where
And certainly after that, not getting the job.
Guy was in action against Asuka. This was an unbelievable match, gentlemen.
no doubt about it. Biggie, you called the shot on the pre-show before. I don't know what this means, but shout out to Io Sky for another incredible performance.
Ladies,
Faces the curse that isn't real.
They brought you success.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, get their wallets. Go ahead.
No. Please stay out of my wallet.
Yeah, get that.
We're gonna go into some of the podcasters here. We got Joe Cronin.
$80, bro. Wow. Like I can't believe that. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like that's a crazy deal, man. But we got.
Alright, hold on.
Has a limit to their natural strength.
Most convoluted way. Because like it doesn't make any sense. I'm honestly trying to think of like some sort of analogy to like the real sports world where because I'm like okay, remember like the UFC they did like the Ultimate Fighter or whatever. Yeah, and it's like those two guys that kicked it off. It was Stephen Bonner and I know somebody in chat will remember who the other guy was. That just put on a killer match. Could have gotten a great reaction, yes. I saw some people say, oh no, you wouldn't want him to do that. And I'm like, I don't have a problem with CM Punk doing that. I don't think CM Punk would have a problem with doing that either. I think he would have rather enjoyed it. But CM Punk was the favorite over at MyBookie AG. And it was not CM. Use the code FIGHTFUL at sign up. See tonight who we got. Oh, at it, and I go, the best. Where so many people were pushing for certain talent within a company.
Not what WWE wants, and will it all make sense in the end? I'm definitely seeing a lot of.
Surprise was how quick they got into this match. The second surprise was how long this match was. We had Kit Wilson and The Miz come out fairly quick, and then Danhausen and his clone tag team partner, Minihausen. And this match, because we're talking it, went 11 minutes and 50 seconds, which might not sound long. This felt like it was 15 minutes.
It felt like near 20, honestly. It really did.
no, I'm gonna need Asuka versus.
Like I said, Fatu released on the hand attack on Roman Reigns after the match was over. There's AEW. Alright, going to the other podcasters. We do got the NBA player, but I'm not going to talk about that. Not until I make NBA 2K25.
Know what I'm saying?
Don't worry, Sancho. You
Got my hair.
Alright, they're going to Denise.
Thank you so much. Kevin here who says Io should win the world title and have a very long title reign. They did her dirty last year with her title reign. Imagine all of the good matches she'll have for every title defense. And I mean, hey, today her and Asuka got a shit amount of time, like a shit good amount of time.
18
is what I meant
minutes.
to say.
Yeah.
Oh, 18 minutes.
Yeah,
Nice,
yeah.
bravo. They got a good amount of time today, and they had a fantastic match. But the big thing that people are wondering, Sancho, is Asuka done with WWE? Was this goodbye? I haven't seen anything official. However, people are speculating based off the teary interaction that she had with Io after the match, and also based on an earth.
I kind of wish that this match was at WrestleMania because when about 18 minutes, this match was better than any of the women's matches on WrestleMania. You know, Jade and Rhea didn't go that long. Stephanie and Liv didn't go that long, 6 minutes. Becky and AJ went 8 minutes. And the women's tag team match went like 8 minutes. Can you imagine? This is why we should have had this match on WrestleMania. We should have had this match on WrestleMania. It would definitely make the show a lot better.
Clear post that she posted 9 hours ago. I actually didn't see it, where she was staring outside of a window and she had Frank Sinatra's "My."
Send Pitbull to Alaska.
I wanted to do the voting aspect. I would have preferred a situation where you vote for the matches and for the.
There's a disease that's sweeping the nation. It can't be cured by medicine or exercise. The best
that he had to challenge the head of the table. Unfortunately for the Samoan werewolf, this is Roman Reigns we're talking about. One-on-one, the tribal chief. And Roman threw everything he...
So if you want to fill some time, well, that wasn't really a drive-by. That was just a shooting. But reality in his mind, he had the match won. Had Roman Reigns not grabbed a hold of the referee, then Jacob would be the new World Heavyweight Champion. That's going to be Jacob's take on this, and he's not wrong. He would have had him down because that's what they've been telling us about the Tongan Death Grip. Now, earlier, Roman Reigns, they did the spot, you know, with the arm where Roman Reigns survived the Death Grip. That final time that he got it on him, Roman did look desperate, and he panicked a little bit. And he resorted to doing anything he needed to do, which was grab a hold of the referee, and that led to the whole thing. Now, the turnbuckle pad came off awfully easily there, so I don't know if Roman got to it and untied it, or if he went over and fucked with it and I didn't see it, but there's no way that thing was that loose. So they either purposely loosened it for the purposes of this finish, or Roman or Jacob got to it and I didn't see it. I don't know, but the buckle pad came off, and that was Roman Reigns essentially using a foreign object to get it done here against Jacob Fato. So Roman, he's lucky to be champion still. I think he survived this, but he still did it on his own. Doesn't, you know, he might have resorted to some dirty tactics like Ric Flair always did, but he did win this match without anybody else coming out there. So I guess not having the outside interference didn't really disappoint me. It just surprised me. Kind of like the WrestleMania Night 2 main event. I thought Punk and Roman for sure would have some run-ins there, and they didn't have anything. And this one didn't have any run-ins either, and I just kind of thought Jacob's warning to the Usos last night was just for show. I didn't think they would actually listen to him and say, okay, we better stay the fuck away from this. Even after the match, when Roman is just getting completely choked out, nobody came out to help him. So I don't even know if the Usos made the trip here. They weren't even backstage at all. You know, I kind of thought we might see Roman talking to them before he came out. Another reminder to them that he doesn't want their help or whatever, but we would still see them there. So we had no interference, but that's not something that really bothers me, to be honest. I'm fine with how the match went. If anything, I remember there was a little bit of a slow start to it. I kind of thought with everything they've been going through on TV between these two, I mean, yes, they are family, but there's kind of a bitterness and a viciousness here between these two guys. I thought Jacob would come out, you know, just a little bit more intense, a little bit, you know, all gas, no brakes. They wrestled, they opened up with a collar and elbow headlock into a headlock and just wrestled it, you know, off the ropes into a shoulder tackle, you know, like what the fuck you know, this is the most amateur shit you can do. Most day one stuff you can do. So I thought they would start out a little bit hotter. I understand that sometimes you have to start out slow and then build the match up. I get that. But based on everything they were doing on TV and the type of character that Jacob Fato is, this unpredictability and him constantly hammering home the no gas, all gas, no brakes catchphrase, you would expect him just to dive right on Roman the very minute the bell rung. And he kind of played it a little bit conservative, and that also kind of surprised me. I thought there would just be a little bit more, I thought it would just be wild throughout the whole match, and it didn't necessarily need to be long. I thought it was just going to be wild. So that, I suppose, maybe I expected a little bit more, but somehow found myself not disappointed either. So we will run through all the matches here real quick. I just wanted to give you my thoughts on the main event while they're fresh after we just saw them. Roman Reigns is still the World Heavyweight Champion. Now, Roman is off of TV in June. We need to be talking about that. They took him off of TV in June, but not May. So from what we can gather, Roman Reigns will be on Raw on Monday, unless he stays home to sell this beatdown, but I don't think he needs to do that. So I think we will see Roman the rest of this month, just not June, which means we might get another match at Clash in Italy. We might not, but they might set up a rematch here. Jacob standing over Roman with the title would imply that we're going to get a rematch here. So if it's not going to be at Night of Champions, which is in Saudi Arabia in late June, the next pay-per-view is Clash. But anything after that, then you're talking SummerSlam time. And I think by then, like I said, after WrestleMania, I really am firmly a believer in Obafemi winning the title at SummerSlam. You just can't put him in there with fucking Otis every week. After that Brock win, you need to, fans are doing the thing, and he's just massively over. So he should beat WWE's top tough guy in Roman Reigns. And imagine that, beating and retiring Brock at Mania, beating Roman Reigns for the title at SummerSlam. That is how you put a bitch over. So between now and then, I feel like Roman has got to remain champion. And I don't think his title is in jeopardy. And even if they do run this back, I think he'll find a way to survive that too. It's just a matter of if they're going to do it at Clash in Italy or where else. There's nothing in July, right? Because SummerSlam is early in the year and then Money in the Bank is later. So that means we're going to go right from Night of Champions in late June to SummerSlam in early August, I'm assuming, right? And the entire month.
At Planet Fitness, we know how important it is to take care of both your mind and body.
Late month of July will be pay-per-view free or PLE free. Do I have that right? I'm not even sure if that's right. But the way they set up the way they finished the match and closed the show, that just tells you rematch. So Clash in Italy, it might be. We shall see. Northern DC, look at Asuka's tweet. I don't have time. Is she tweeting some stuff? We were talking during the match because of some of the things she's been tweeting out and putting on Instagram, which I did not see. You guys informed me that today she posted My Way by Frank Sinatra on Instagram, and there was some body language going in the match. And tomorrow. Okay. We will see. Okay. Now it's time for my least favorite part of the show. This was The Miz and Kit Wilson taking on Danhausen and a mystery partner. Now, as soon as this match was announced, we had all sorts of ideas, and I think the biggest idea was CM Punk, because that would be fun. Now, I questioned whether or not that was going to happen, because that would essentially mean that your WrestleMania 2 Night 2 main eventer is going to be in a comedy match at the next pay-per-view with goddamn Kit Wilson. So I wasn't really sure if CM Punk was really that likely, but I think it would have been the most fun. Punk and Danhausen are homies. They get along. I thought that if it turned out to be CM Punk, the fans would really enjoy that, and they would just wipe the floor with Miz and Kit Wilson. Well, then last night on SmackDown, we see Danhausen trying to clone himself. And, well, like, shit, they're going to bring out two Danhausens? And so I'm still staying optimistic. I'm like, no, this is a PLE. This is a pay-per-view. And there's only 5 matches on this pay-per-view. This is the same argument I gave at Elimination Chamber when they had that crate. And I was like, I love Danhausen, but I'm not sure if he would be in there. I don't know if he's a big enough name to debut on a pay-per-view when there's only 4 matches on that show. It's got to be Jericho or something. Otherwise, they would just debut Danhausen on TV. Well, here we go again with this shit. We got this mystery partner. We only have 5, count them, 5 matches on this PLE. You got a locker room back there with Carmelo Hayes just sitting there. Dragunov, you name anybody. Think about all the great talent not on the show tonight that you would have maybe rather seen a match from rather than this. And so Kit Wilson and The Miz make their way out there, and then Danhausen drives his little Danhausen car. And with the emotion on Asuka's face, if this is her retirement, I think that's tremendous. And we talked about this during the watch-along, that every wrestler and every case is going to be different. But there are definitely retirements that I would prefer to happen this way. I think some of the best retirements are the ones where you don't really know going in. You know, sometimes as a fan, you want to know, but you don't want to know every time. And I think a really good example of that is what Brock Lesnar just did at WrestleMania. Now, granted, there's still some chatter that might not be legit, but I'm hoping that it is. And if it is, I really love the way he went out. Just decided on his own, didn't make it a whole thing or whatever. And in Asuka's case, she's the heel going into this. You know, they didn't do a stipulation like loser leaves WWE stip or anything like that. I think Asuka just wanted to go out there and have a great match with one of her friends, you know, and just leave it all there in the ring, you know, and call it a day in WWE. And if that is in fact what she is doing, because earlier on in the day she tweeted out or posted the Frank Sinatra song on Instagram, and I don't know what she said since then or after this match, but I think that's really amazing. You know, that if she went out this way and then later on tonight or right now or tomorrow or wherever, she releases this lengthy statement that she's retiring, and now fans get to look at this match as the final one. You know, maybe in this case for you would have rather have known that this was going to be Asuka's last match, so you can, you know, be emotionally in it or whatever. I guess it just depends on the situation and the wrestler and the fan and what they would prefer. But also, you know, what type of wrestler they are, what storylines they're in at the time, how big of a star they are, or, you know, all that stuff factors in and whatever their personal, you know, desires are. And some of them might not want the distraction and the pageantry of their last match taking away from them focusing on having their last match. This is going to be the last time I'm in the ring. I want to focus on having my match. You know, not worry about the fans knowing that this is it, making sure I perform well for them. You know, it's more about her, you know, and if that's the decision she made, I support it 100%. And I do like that we get retirements like this somehow. She is in her 40s. You're right, she's 44. Younger than me still, but she's, you know, it's hard to do this at this level into your 50s and stuff. So, you know, you knew we were coming up to the end of Asuka's career anyway at some point. So now it remains to be seen if this is actually it, and if she maybe comes out on Monday Night Raw on Monday and has a little speech, a little goodbye speech. Maybe they close the show with a send-off for Asuka. How wonderful would that be? I would if Asuka is retiring, I would let her cut a promo to close the show. Whatever Roman and Jacob does opens. Just open with that. And then at the end, give Asuka the moment in the ring. She can say a few words on the mic. The locker room can empty out. She can cry.
Hold on.
Your beloved pet is suddenly missing. Luckily,
Hold on, damn it.
have Google Fi Wireless.
Wait, that's it?
You must know.
I mean, I was so excited. I said, you don't belong here, Jacob. There is no order with you. It's your last night here.
Well, we've had some time to deck.
How long is this pre-show? 42 minutes? Well, it looks like the pre-show's over. 42
overall,
minutes.
the show ends up getting a thumbs down, according to this poll. Right? It almost gets a 60% down. Like,
Right, you know? Yeah. They've done a great job working little.
Punk and Cody is like a guaranteed WrestleMania main event if they do it as a at a WrestleMania.
It was going to be defended week in, week out. It doesn't make sense if it's an NXT versus main roster.
And no response as to
be the end of WWE or AEW. So maybe that's why we got less of that. I mean, I would love to think that they listened to the fans, but come on, let's also not interested in that. All right, Trick Williams, Sami Zayn. This one was also better than their WrestleMania match. It wasn't the greatest match. It was...
Seemed cool. They go, really? I'm like, yeah.
Are you serious?
T created, you know what I mean? You know, they're not going to advertise. I mean, it's different from Vegas, from New York.
And this is on pay-per-view. Right after the Danhausen debacle that we just saw, I'm like, what are we doing? So I'm like, this better be a real fucking announcement of some kind. And as it turns out, it was. It's an experimental announcement, but John Cena announced that WWE was going to hold the John Cena Classic tournament. I believe this is going to be an annual thing. And the way he described it, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, did he say, he either said that it's going to include superstars from NXT, Raw, and SmackDown, or I think he said it's NXT versus WWE stars. Is that what he said? So he kind of was bringing up the previous tournament to find out who faced him and how that, introduced the world to, some other, some NXT stars. First time we saw Sol Ruka and shit like that, with some of the stuff that he was involved with and helped. And then, of course, his tournament to determine his challenger for his final match. And so he's kind of putting over the idea of tournaments and young NXT stars that are being introduced to the WWE audience for the first time. So he is proud to announce that there's going to be a John Cena Classic, and the way it's going to work is that you're going to hold a tournament, yes, but the fans are going to vote on the winner. There's going to be a championship made for this. There's going to be a championship belt. I guess this is going to be WWE's version of the Continental Classic. And since he's advertising this so close to Night of Champions, you have to wonder if that's what we're doing. Are we doing the John Cena Classic in Saudi Arabia? Because otherwise it would be King of the Ring. King and Queen of the Ring is what they've been doing to determine SummerSlam challengers, right? For the title. They did that last year, right? For the title. So are they going to do the King and Queen of the Ring and this? And also, is the John Cena Classic, is it going to be a men's and women's tournament? 2 separate tournaments? I think that's what they're doing. And when's it going to happen? And if it's going to happen at Night of Champions, he kind of phrased it like it was going to happen in one night, right? So he didn't really mention where or when this is going to happen. I was waiting for him to say it's going to be shown exclusively on the Club WWE app. I was waiting for that. That never came. And he said that the fans are going to choose the winner, but they're having a tournament. So it must be probably like a round robin.
I'm going to show you all the other podcasters. JD from New York.
Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with?
You guys don't know me. My name is Karen. I am a
Asuka's final rematch. The post-match transition. Triple H it delivered yet another overwhelming 5-match PLE that does not seal platinum. For the first time in more than 2 years, Reigns claims the championship when he defeated Punk at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight title. He faces his cousin Jacob Fatu, the main event of Backlash. After both superstars suffered injuries, Braun suddenly reemerges at WrestleMania 42 to spear Rollins and caused him to lose Gunther at WrestleMania. Now both collide in a heated one-on-one match, a very great match. Can Seth destroy the Division or Braun destroy Seth? Braun destroys Seth. Now, is this a one-off or the feud going to continue? Because this is pretty much a clean win when you think about it. So what does Braun do now? Now, we don't know. We have to wait until what happens on Raw. Like, is Fatu and Roman a one-off, or is that going to continue? And is Braun and Seth going to continue, or are they just going to move on? And we move Braun Breaker up to, I don't think it should be in the mid-card. He's not going after Penta. But they could do Braun and Roman Reigns for a class in Italy. That could happen. It is a possibility. Io Sky and Asuka was a very good match. Is Asuka done with this her final match in WWE? Trick Williams and Sami Zayn was a very good match. Is Sami Zayn going to turn heel? Because he's been coming up heelless and Trick has been coming up babyface. He's over as hell. People love doing the whip that Trick chant. Now, it was silly with that tag team match with Danhausen, the Mini-Hausen. The Miz and Kit Wilson don't belong on pay-per-view. They're not worthy for a pay-per-view. Now, John Cena with this major announcement, this John Cena Classic. We'll have to wait and see what's going to happen. Reigns said Jacob doesn't belong in WWE. I'm gonna show y'all Solemn after. So Cena promises a historic announcement. Alright.
Classic that I didn't understand is when you won your Continental Classic title and then you defended it.
Score Denise Salcedo. Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
The mini houses distracting you on top of the. That's why Zilla Fatu didn't. Hey man, that packages that they had, and I thought it set up. It felt like a regular PLE, and it felt like a very strong B tier PLE for a Backlash. I mean, there was not a lot of, I guess, surprise results when you think about it. If you really, really think about it, nothing really out of the ordinary happened. Maybe if you really wanted to say Braun Breaker beating Seth Rollins was a surprise, but I look at all the results and I don't think there was anyone surprised by anything today. And I think that's why some people may rate this Backlash a little lower.
But sometimes it needs to be like that because the point is you're following the stories, and if you're following the stories should lead you to an ending that is, pretty spot on.
Are you Googling it now?
Weekend. Bye, everybody.
When life takes a turn, you can't stand still because understand.
So do you have to rethink about that now? If that's not going to be the case, how are you going to determine the challengers for your champions? At least now you have a little bit more freedom. The king and queen of the ring kind of books you into a corner a little bit. You already do this shit with the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, so at least not having that tournament sitting there gives you the freedom to essentially book any world title matches that you want. Now, I was hoping that Obafemi would be in the King of the Ring and smash his way through it on his track to SummerSlam.
In the middle of the ring. And Fatu, when the match was over, absolutely losing his mind. Going nuts. Like a madman. And putting Roman down multiple times with the Tongan death grip. Really trying to get that Tongan death grip over. He's got the fingers taped and everything now. This is his new gimmick. And he was a wild man out there. He even took Adam Pearce when he came out to try to settle him down, threw him out of the ring. And I know it came across like, okay, so long, Roman, we're not going to see you for a few months. That would be awful, of course, since he's the World Heavyweight Champion. Roman is scheduled for Clash in Italy at the end of this month. I can't say that he's going to be on Raw this week or next week or the week after that, but he is scheduled to be on the next PLE. Sounds like we're going to get 2 different world title matches on that show. And I would figure they would want Roman on that show in Italy. Kind of like Julia, honestly. I mean, he's got some family ties. He's got an Italian side of his family, right? I believe that's where his mom is from. But yeah, so what was pretty well established when this match was over is that they are going to run this back, which is great. And now they have established Jacob Fatu as this just unstoppable, dangerous individual who can snap at a moment's notice. And it did come across like this was more of a full-on heel turn for him here. Nothing they've done on TV in recent weeks would indicate that, but his behavior when this match was over would indicate that this probably was meant to be a heel turn for Jacob Fatu. And we'll see where it goes as far as the Usos are concerned, because he cut that off last night on SmackDown and said, you better not be thinking about getting involved in my match. Stay away. And they did. As far as we know, they were not even there tonight. How are they going to react to this? Right? Roman's still the champion, but, Jacob put him down. How are the Usos going to, react to this, and what's their response going to be? So that's going to be the story now coming out of this until we get the rematch. And we will be getting a rematch, I'm sure, between these two. There was nothing blow-away in the ring tonight. I thought the main event was very good. Io Sky and Asuka was also very good. To me, they had the match of the night. And maybe the most wild stat of all when we talk about this Backlash show is the fact that Io Sky and Asuka actually got more time in the ring than Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu did, if you can believe it. They both went about the same amount of time, but I think Io and Asuka got maybe 30 seconds longer than they did in the main event, which is crazy. More than enough time for both matches. More than enough time for both these matches and the people involved to go out there and tell the story they needed to tell. Io and Asuka, I always knew they were going to have a very good match. I never for 1 second doubted the quality of the match they would have when they were out there. What I questioned was, what would the feeling be with them out there fighting and Kairi saying nowhere to be found? And I was kind of hoping that maybe they could work out some sort of arrangement with Kairi just to get her in to at least finish out this story, you know, with her two friends. I understand if they did go to her and she said no, I probably would have said the same thing. I would have said piss off. I don't know if they went to her or not. I'm guessing not. When the match was over, that really was the one big thing that was missing. As good as the match was, great match, right? But there was an actual story here. And you watch them out there and you watch the finish of the match and something's missing. Because there was a story that was being told on television for many months, and again, we never got the payoff to it. This was supposed to be it. Tonight was supposed to be the night. And it wasn't there. Now, had they done this match at WrestleMania, ain't no way they're going out there and getting 18 minutes. Okay, so they actually got more time tonight than they would have at WrestleMania. But the trade-off here is that even if they would have gone to WrestleMania and got half that, if they got 9 minutes at WrestleMania, Kairi was still employed at that time, I believe. And so they could have actually finished the story off with Kairi Sane on that show. And I would rather have that than 9 more minutes. I would rather them go out there and have a good match instead of a very good match, but give us that payoff at the end. So that was the one thing that was missing. I'm like, man, this crowd, man, they would have gone crazy if they would have done this in a way where Kairi finally stood up to Asuka. And what a great ending that would have been. So unfortunately tonight, we didn't get it. That was the one thing that was missing. There was, when the match was over, the two women came together. There was a reunion between the two of them, Io and Asuka. They put their differences aside. And the way Asuka was acting, the way Asuka was behaving, the way Asuka was kind of waving to the crowd, there's something a little more than just the ending of a match and, hey, you know, paying respect to my opponent going on here. There was something going on here where I'm not sure if, I don't want to say this was her last match, but it came across to me like Asuka, if she isn't done, may be winding down very soon. I hope I'm wrong, because I still feel like she's got a lot to contribute. I know she's been there for a long time. I hope it's not the end for her, but it just that vibe. I got that vibe with what was going on there in the post-match, but I hope I'm wrong. But Danhausen actually got a match here on this show. Danhausen has been all over the place. He's been all over the TV shows, and the fans love him. He's over. He sells a lot of merch, so of course they're going to run him into the ground until people are sick of seeing him. So we got a match on this show. Now, we came into this PLE, only 5 matches were announced for this show. Not a single women's championship match on the show, but they had time for Danhausen and a mystery partner against The Miz and Kit Wilson. And there were a lot of people talking about who the mystery partner was going to be. There were a lot of people thinking it was going to be CM Punk. I had people tweeting me, the betting odds. I don't give a fuck about the betting odds. The fuck do I care about the betting odds? I don't give a shit. It was never going to be CM Punk. I don't know why, I don't know where this narrative came from other than the two of them were friends. They were not going to use CM Punk for this. Jelly Roll is the one that I kept coming back to because he actually had involvement with these men in this story leading into WrestleMania. Had things gone differently, he very likely was going to be in the main event of this show, or one of the main events. Think about that. Had things gone a little bit differently with Randy Orton and Pat McAfee. And it was not Jelly Roll. It was not Jelly Roll. It was not CM Punk. It was not Royce Keys. It was none of these people. In fact, who it turned out to be was not exactly a big name. Literally, no one big. Let that be a clue. Let that be a small clue as to who his tag team partner was. I think my perspective on this may actually be quite different than you're going to hear from a lot of other people. Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. Especially coming off my diatribe last night during the SmackDown review when it came to the gingerbread garbage. I didn't hate this the way that I think some people may end up hating it. Now, don't get me wrong, it had no business being on this show. When you are so limited that you only have 5 matches to fill on your premium live event, this should not be one of those matches. And I understand, you want to have that one come-down match or the comic relief. Yeah, not on a card that has 5 matches. Not when so many other performers on your show, not when so many other wrestlers are left out in the cold with no spot on the card whatsoever. This match should have been on SmackDown. It was a television match through and through. Anybody who's upset with the fact that this ended up on the PLE over some of the other stuff that we could have had, 100%, I feel you. I feel you. But I did not hate what they did here. We'll talk about what ended up happening. You combine all of this, though, with the other matches on the show. I thought Backlash overall, it was good. It was a good show. It was not a great show. I don't know what number I would give to it. Not anything too terribly high, but it was good. I mean, again, the actual in-ring action we got in most of the matches was good. But that wasn't all we got. Because the biggest thing that they were hyping up for this show was John Cena, who retired in December. He was the host of WrestleMania 3 weeks ago. Already he was back. I think he lives in Tampa. I said this the other day. For him, it's easy because he could probably go home and sleep in his own bed tonight. And he had been hyping on his social media that there was going to be some sort of epic, and these are words that he was using, okay? I'm not just pulling this out of my ass here. He was using words like epic. He was using words like historic, history-making. It was going to rock the very foundation of WWE. When you start doing that, and you start using words like that, 9 times out of 10, there is no way you are going to be able to live up to your own hype. So I don't know why they do this. They've done this before. They continue to do it. I know they're trying to sell, ESPN subscriptions. But they never do themselves any favors by using words like that, because invariably you're going to just leave people very disappointed no matter what it is that you announce. And I'm sure it will be the same tonight. However, most people, myself included, figure, well, this is going to be tied into this new Club WWE thing that they seem to be making Cena the face of. It's their new fan club. They haven't rolled it out officially yet. We still don't know what the membership fee is going to be and all that. And I think a lot of people figured that it was tied into that. That's why Cena was going to be on the show. Must be tied into Club WWE. And who's to say, by the way, that it won't be? We don't know for sure that there won't be some sort of Club WWE tie-in here, but that's not what it was. The announcement from John Cena tonight was that coming soon, he didn't even tell us when. We have no date. We have no date, we have no location, we have no time, we have no additional details as of yet on this. Maybe tomorrow. But there is going to be an event titled the John Cena Classic. You know, in NXT, we had the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Of course, tag team wrestling is dead in WWE, so we don't have any tag team classics anymore. But it's going to be the John Cena Classic. And basically the theme of it is going to be very similar to what Cena pushed for on his final show on that Saturday night's main event that we had in December, where there were people in the company, one person in particular, Bruce, who wanted John Cena to have his match with Gunther, and that was going to be the one match on that show. The entire show built around John Cena, no other matches except John Cena against Gunther. And it was Cena, as a shoot, legit, who pushed for the idea of having matches on the card that showcase talents from NXT. That's how we got Cody Rhodes against Obafemi. That's how we got Sol Ruka against Bayley. That's how we got AJ Styles and Dragon Lee against Leon Slater and Javon Evans. And it's a good thing they did that, because those are the matches that really ended up carrying the show in many ways. So this is basically following the same concept. Only this event, Cena's attaching his name to it. It's going to be an annual, well, he hopes it will be an annual event. He admits he doesn't even know if this is going to work. The idea is that it's going to be a one-time event, but hopefully they'll do it maybe once a year going forward. And it'll pit WWE main roster talents in matches against NXT talents. Again, very similar to what we saw a few months ago. I don't believe he ever used the word tournament or, you know, it's not like a Survivor Series style match or anything like that. He just said that there will be matches pitting talent from main roster against NXT. And that is the idea behind it. Yeah, somebody in the chat mentioned Mason Rook. Mason Rook, that's his new name, huh? What's the guy's name again? Is it not Will Cruz? I already forgot the guy's last name. I'm already calling him Mason Rook. I forgot his other name. Cena's a big fan of that guy. He just debuted on NXT. Cena was posting stuff on social media about him. You can tell he's a big fan of that guy. I think someone like him is going to end up doing real well on a show like this. Cruz, thank you. Will Cruz. I was right. Okay, so it is Will Cruz. So, the idea is that they're going to have these matches, and there's going to be a championship, which, just what we need. We need the creation of more championships, I know. In this case, if it's a championship that's more of a trophy, it's not a championship that's meant to be defended, you know, kind of like the Owen Hart Foundation belt that you get if you win the Owen Hart tournament in AEW. Or if you win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, you get the Andre the Giant trophy. We see it one night, we never see it again. If it's something like that, fine. It's basically the equivalent of a trophy or a medal or something, a certificate of achievement, something to that effect. What we don't need is some sort of championship that is to be defended. We don't need that. But there's going to be a belt made in his name, and the winner of this competition is going to become the John Cena Classic Champion. How do you win this competition? This is going to be the point of contention. Now, we don't have all the details yet, but the way that he described it, which is very weird, the way that he described it is that there's going to be a series of matches. However, the key here is that they're going to implement fan voting. The fans will be able to make their voices heard as far as who they like, who they don't like. Everybody who qualifies for this, everybody who is going to be wrestling on this show, is automatically qualified to be voted on by the fans as the John Cena Classic Champion. So you could go out there and have a match or matches on this show and lose every single match, and it doesn't matter. Because if the fans like you enough, and they vote for you, you will supersede everybody else and you will win the competition. So basically, it's a popularity contest. Having the actual matches is meant to be a showcase for people, but the wins and losses here, they don't matter. Which is why I think the idea of even having a championship in the first place is incredibly fucking dumb. I mean, why even bother having a belt? The hell do you need a belt for? Assuming it is going to be a belt. I don't know if he didn't call it a belt, he called it a championship. I hear championship, I think belt. So, there's a lot that we still have to learn as far as exactly how this thing is going to work.
We are lovers of yarn.
You know what? Depending on how Jennifer feels, because she's in real tough times right now.
Would be funny.
Between these two has definitely got people talking. You can see here is Asuka leaving. People wondering. I hope that's.
over with. That's just me. I wasn't really a big fan of the way they used to, implement the fan voting and do those shows. I always thought, you know what, this gimmick works a lot better. Plus, again, it's a pay-per-view. So part of it for me is like when I was going into a pay-per-view back then, I wanted to know what the fucking card was. And we never knew. Back then it was like, well, the fans were going to vote. We didn't know what the matches were going to be.
Show, then that to me is not premium. To me, that's fucking the... Over here. Backlash, are you sure? Okay. Let me try it again. Thank you guys very much for joining me tonight, right here for the Backlash 2026 post show. Right here on Off the Script. I'm JD from New York, as always, coming to you live from the OTS venue inside my mother's basement. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on this Saturday evening, wherever you may be. Man, it's early. I felt like I just left you guys last night, man, with SmackDown. Oh my goodness, man, it's early. It's 9:45. These shows are premium. I'm still struggling to figure that out. Now, they may be premium to you, but your version and your idea of premium is not my idea of premium. Some of you are all right with a Keurig and K-Cups in the morning. I need a $6,000 espresso machine, and I need to do the whole process by myself. There are levels to people's idea of premium. WWE really needs to start strengthening these shows. I cannot stress that enough. 100%. They need to start strengthening these shows more than what we've been given. What I mean by that is, WWE feels that they can plaster Roman Reigns and John Cena and Danhausen and Seth Rollins on a Backlash poster and call it premium. This show was missing a lot of top talent. There was no Obafemi, there was no Cody Rhodes, there was no CM Punk, there was no Gunther. A lot of the talent in WWE gets off these shows, gets left off these shows, because Triple H is stuck in this vortex of, I can only do 5 matches. 5 matches is our limit. Now, we've heard Bruce, because we've watched Unreal, and we've seen clips of Bruce bullshitting his way through another excuse. We've heard Bruce Pritchard claim that 5 matches is good enough for me. Nobody wants to be bombarded with pro wrestling. Alright, I'm not asking for fucking 12 matches like Tony Khan does every month. All I'm asking for is a 6th match. Or maybe a 7th match. What exactly is premium about these shows? When you look at the current WWE model, you're looking at WWE on ESPN now, doing a first full hour on ESPN2, or ESPN, depending on what it's going to be. They did ESPN for WrestleMania because it's WrestleMania. And then they did ESPN2. They did ESPN2 on night 1, and then ESPN proper on night 2. So they gave you 2 hours of WrestleMania for free, theoretically. They did the same thing with Backlash. It wasn't a 2-night show. So tonight's show, Backlash, the first hour was on ESPN2. They gave you Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker to open Backlash. And then they gave you a United States Championship match with Trick Williams and Sami Zayn to round out that first hour. That is free to everybody. You can be a random scrolling through your cable channels. Oh, look, ESPN2, they got WWE on. I didn't know WWE was on ESPN. Now look at this. We're living in a brand new era. So So you give 2 matches away for free, and now the people that actually pay for the show are getting gypped. How are they getting gypped? They're getting gypped because you're giving away what they're paying for free. So you're theoretically fucking the people over who pay $30 to subscribe to the ESPN Unlimited app to watch this slop. So you gave 2 matches away for free, and then you give 3 matches away on the pay-per-view or the PLE, and theoretically you're paying $10 per match. I don't know what you people think is the idea of quality, or in this case, premium, but if you think that Danhausen match teaming with fucking Midget A against Miz and Kit Wilson was worth $10 of your time, I mean, you're better off giving me the fucking $10 via Super Chat so I could go buy myself another fancy bag of coffee. Triple H needs to get out of his own bubble. He needs to stop listening to Bruce Pritchard. He needs to break free. He needs to let loose. He needs to dig his feet into the sand and pop open a cold fucking Corona and relax. You're not going to break into cold sweats if you give me another match or 2. You're not going to have heart murmurs if you give me another match or 2. Your father-in-law is not going to call you on the phone and scold you like a fucking red-headed stepchild because you wanted to give me an extra match or 2. Your wife isn't going to let you sleep on the fucking couch because she's pissed at you if you give me a match or 2. Give me an extra match or 2 to make these shows feel premium. When PLEs on WWE's premium live event calendar feel like a glorified addition to SmackDown, or if they start feeling like a Saturday night's main event, then we got a problem. WWE cannot differentiate what their shows are supposed to be or what their shows are supposed to feel like. SmackDown needs to feel like SmackDown on television. Saturday night's main event needs to be what this show was tonight. And a premium live event needs to be fucking premium. Saturday night's main event is not what we're paying $30 for. You're asking us to go to another streaming service to watch shows like this at a premium price. You should be giving me premium top product quality. WWE's lost the plot. They either are too fucking stupid to realizing that they're screwing their own fan base, or they don't give a shit that they're screwing their own fucking fan base. And I'd love for someone to tell me when I'm telling any lies here. It doesn't feel premium. And again, let me reiterate for the fucking half-witted, toothless idiot in the back who thinks I want 10 matches like AEW Dynasty. I'm not asking for 10 matches. Bruce Pritchard's a fucking idiot if he thinks the fan base wants 10 matches on a WWE PLE. Can they give you 10 matches? Of course they can. They'd have to tell some fucking story to make those matches make sense. But nobody's asking for 10 matches. If you're giving 2 matches away for free, you need to give me another 2 matches on the PLE so it offsets what we're getting for free and what the people are actually paying for. Because the people looking at it head on, they think they're paying for 5 matches. They're only paying for 3 matches, and you're getting 2 for free. I'm not sitting here paying $30 a fucking month for ESPN Unlimited to watch fucking Danhausen team with some midget from AAA. To me, that's not premium. To me, that's having coffee in the morning out of a fucking Keurig K-cup that tastes like shit. Premium to me is Oscar Io. Premium to me is Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu. Premium to me is story, stars, in big-time matches, where the matches make the show feel important. To me, that's not Keurig K-Cup. That's me drinking out of my La Marzocco espresso machine at $6,000 fucking dollars with the best bag of coffee money can buy. Homemade. I'm sorry if I'm asking for quality. What you're getting right now is you're getting fucked. You're not getting quality. You can give me all the 20-minute matches you want, but if you only got 3 on the actual fucking show, then that to me is not premium. To me, that's fucking the audience. I can't tell the difference between this show, Saturday Night's Main Event, and what we got last night on Friday Night SmackDown. That's a fucking problem. And if you don't agree with me, I need to take you to school to teach you a fucking lesson. I need you to take the fucking stick out of your ass and stop shilling WWE. Stop glazing WWE. Stop sticking up for the multi-billionaire fucking company that don't give a fuck about what you think about them. I'm here to tell you what's right and what's wrong, because I know they're not going to listen to us. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a shit about what we have to say. But I'm telling you what the problem is. And I'm telling you that you're getting robbed. PLEs need to start feeling like actual pay-per-views. They are asking you to pay what it used to be to watch a pay-per-view. All because you stretch the fucking 5-match show to 3 hours and you throw a John Cena announcement in there and you have him eat up 13 minutes of fucking TV time and then you give me fucking 45 minutes of commercials. To me, that's not premium. To me, that's not premium. If you stretch the show to 3.5 hours to give me 5 matches on the main show and maybe 2 hours free on ESPN, then maybe I'll start to trend towards, all right, this feels a little more premium. They get rid of the sets. Nothing's unique about these shows. They all feel the fucking same. You get the same dialogue and the same matches and the same feel. Everything about these shows doesn't feel premium live event to me. Yet they're charging top dollar for fucking people to buy their way in. And you're asking people to sign up for the app at $30 for 3 matches. It's a problem. I wanted to get that off my chest. I wanted to get that off my chest. Who's in the chat getting benched? Jeremy's getting benched? Who's Jeremy? What happened to Jeremy? Let's see what Jeremy has to say. Sidro banned him. Jeremy says, let's see. All this guy does is complain. Yeah, you know what, Jeremy? I complained when your mother's fucking blowjob was not to my liking. Get the fuck out. Her cooking also sucked, too. I had to go into the kitchen and teach her a lesson or 3 because she said she could make me a nice, hearty dish of Italian. She said she was a master in Italian cuisine. That also sucked, too. Get the fuck out. Fucking ridiculous. All you do is complain. I guarantee you Jeremy's gonna go down to his local coffee shop and complain when the fucking barista behind the bar messes up his order. Oh, but I ordered a croissant. I got a piece of banana bread. Are you not gonna complain, Jeremy? Oh, but I asked for whole milk. You gave me non-fat milk. Are you gonna complain, Jeremy? Or are you gonna sit there like a fucking pussy, like a bitch, and take what they give you? Get the fuck out! Jeremy waited 2 weeks to show that he's a fucking retard in my chat. Thanks for coming, Jeremy. Get the fuck out. Now we can continue the show. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Thank you. Now we'll get to the good. I thought tonight's show flowed very nicely. You know, when we sat and watched WrestleMania Night 1 this year, we were all blown away by, what the fuck? We got Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu in the open of night one. Went about 14 minutes. We were like, all right, we could deal with that. Could have went a little longer, based on what they've been doing for months. Could have went a little longer, went 20 minutes. Then we get into the second match, and they roll through the free preview. And then when we get to the actual show, we're just bombarded with 6 minutes here, and 7 minutes here, and 6 minutes here. It's like, what the fuck? Bro, everything went 6 or 7 minutes, tops, on night one. Then we get to Randy Orton, it goes 25 fucking minutes. Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. And that moved at a snail's pace because they wanted to tell a story. Meanwhile, it was fucking terrible. When you have a show like WrestleMania, you need to give me premium. You need to give me 15 to 20 minute matches. You need to give me stories that are being played out, some of which, most of which, should be stories that are coming to its climax or coming to its conclusion. Out of every show all year, WrestleMania should be the one where we get the most wrestling. Second year in a row now under TKO, and we get more commercials than we do wrestling. When we sat through WrestleMania, we got 6 minutes, 7 minutes. Then we go into a 7-minute commercial. We go into a 5-minute block of commercial. We come back from the 5-minute block of commercial. We get another commercial. And then we get Drew McIntyre and Tiffany Stratton doing Chumba Casino. And then we go right to ringside. We get some celebrity appearances and some fucking geek who I still don't know the name of sitting on commentary. And then we get to the ring entrances. And then we get to the wrestling. And then we get 6 minutes. Right back into commercial. Do it all over again. Chumba Casino, celebrities. Let me shill this. This match is brought to you by so-and-so. Ring entrances. 7 minutes. Rinse and repeat. When WWE allows Asuka and Io to go out there and give us 20 minutes of a pro wrestling match, and everybody's happy about what they gave us, and then we go into a 4-minute block of commercial, it feels a little bit more okay. You're a little bit more easy on the commercials. You're a little bit more, all right, we just got a banger fucking match between two of the best women wrestlers in the world. I think I could sit through a 4-minute block after they just gave me 20 minutes of a great wrestling match. Roman and Jacob Fatu had a great wrestling match. Io and Asuka had a great wrestling match. Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker had a very good wrestling match. Sami Zayn and Trick Williams went 15 minutes. When you leave those matches and you go into a 4-minute block of commercials, we'll be right back, commercial break. It doesn't feel as offensive. It doesn't feel as egregious as it did at WrestleMania. We even got some video packages before the matches tonight. We got a video package highlighting how we came to this Danhausen-Miz feud. We got a video package for Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns before the main event. These are things that I personally actively complained about. We went from match, commercial, entrance, match, commercial. It felt like WWE wanted to speed run through WrestleMania. I'm not playing some fucking video game here, bro. I want to watch a pro wrestling show that you call the biggest pro wrestling show of the entire year. I don't want to watch Adocalypse.
Not that there's other.
It felt like WWE came out and wanted to redeem themselves from WrestleMania. So, in my opinion, Backlash felt better than WrestleMania Night 1. Is that done on purpose? Was that done by design? I don't know. I don't know. I hope that's the case. We even got a backstage fucking interview tonight. We got thoughts before someone went out through the curtain. I'm like, all right. These are things that we actively complained about. Is WWE fixing this shit for the better moving forward? Probably not. they'll shut everybody up and make everything okay coming out of WrestleMania because they know people didn't like WrestleMania this year. We like certain aspects of WrestleMania, but they completely buried WrestleMania. So hopefully that this is what we got tonight moving forward is going to be more of the same. We're going to talk about Jacob Fato and Roman Reigns. I thought that was a great main event. Honestly, I was so invested in what they were doing in the ring, and the crowd was hot for what they were doing. I could have watched them go another 10 minutes. I actually felt shortchanged watching their match. I wanted to see them go a little bit longer because they have a lot of story to tell. But also, with what happened at the end, I also don't think that this is the end of Roman Reigns and Jacob Fato. So we're going to talk about that. They opted to turn Jacob Fato fully heel. Will the crowd receive Jacob Fato as a heel? Only time will tell. But they did what they needed to do to make sure you know what role he's going to play moving forward. And it looks like instead of him coming out and being a catchphrase merchant every single week, all gas, no brakes, yada mean, Fato, it looks like they may be molding his character into the new generation of Umaga. I saw a lot of Umaga in Jacob Fato tonight.
I don't hear it. I'm done.
And let's be real. Jacob Fato was great no matter how you phrase it. But Jacob Fato is a heel. He's always been a heel. He's a better heel. I don't look at Jacob Fato as a babyface. The only babyface thing that's really there about Jacob Fato is the fact that he's a fucking great pro wrestler. And we appreciate what he does in the ring. But when you strip all that away and you look at Fato, Fato's a fucking heel. So WWE made the right decision to really just kind of push him in that one direction. We're going to talk about Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. This was Braun Breaker's first match since January.
I am a felon. I do have a
He's had a long time off.
18 years old.
He looked a little rusty today.
I am a felon. I do have a
But that doesn't mean the match was bad.
So,
Rollins did what he could.
Well, I am a felon.
Rollins also is probably suffering some ring rust.
A long time ago.
He wrestled Gunther in a 15-minute great match at WrestleMania. The only redeeming thing about night one.
I served my time.
Honestly, Rollins...
I served my time.
I love Rollins in ring work. And even though Rollins is great, the match still looked a little sloppy at certain points. But the finished result, the end product, it ended up being a very solid match, and WWE got the winner correct. We're going to talk about where they possibly go from here. Io and Asuka, probably the best match of the entire night, easily. Easily. If you went Roman and Jacob Fato, I wouldn't argue with you, but my personal favorite match of the night was Io versus Asuka. No championship on the line, just two women who are great at what they do. They went out there and they fucking killed it. But the question now is this Asuka's last match in WWE? We're going to go over what she said on social media. And then we had the very up-in-the-air, controversial Danhausen match, where it was rumored that Jelly Roll would be his tag team partner tonight. And if not Jelly Roll, it would be CM Punk. We didn't get either of those two men. But what we got was making us wish for Jelly Roll. We're going to talk about that. Sami Zayn, Trick Williams for the United States Championship following the Gingerbread Man disaster on Friday Night SmackDown. This is your WWE Backlash 2026 post-show right here on Off the Script. Tonight we're sponsored by Blue Chew. Blue Chew Gold. I want to thank them for sponsoring the show tonight. Blue Chew Gold, you're going to sign up at BlueChew.com, and when you use code JD, you're going to buy 2 months of Blue Chew Gold and get the 3rd month for free. Promo code JD at BlueChew.com. I want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. We got 3,400 people in here on a Saturday night. Thank you for a great start to the month of May. Appreciate you guys. Shout out to my audio listeners, Spotify, iTunes, and everywhere in between. You guys are killing it over there. Continue the level of support, please. Over there, you guys are fucking unbelievable, man. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I looked at the charts today. We were top 20. So thank you guys very much for that. Comment. And he doesn't need Seth Rollins or his vision to become the world's heavyweight champion. So we got the ring entrances. Rollins, I think he had a very Mortal Kombat-esque attire. I don't know who he was actually dressed as, but it looked very Mortal Kombat-esque. Braun Breaker comes out, he's just a badass. We get these guys in the ring. Bell rings. Breaker immediately went for a spear. Rollins leapfrogged the attempt, sending Breaker into the corner almost immediately right at the top. Rollins followed up with a suicide dive on both sides of the ring. And then he got the early advantage. Breaker recovered. Breaker again builds up his momentum. He hits the ropes back and forth. Rollins countered a spear, super spear with a pedigree. He caught Breaker in midair, mid-spear with a pedigree. Rollins then climbed to the second rope. He looked for the big avalanche stomp. Breaker exploded up with a mid-air spear as Rollins came off the second rope. Breaker then ran the ropes again, connected with another spear. 1, 2, 3. Braun Breaker, with the interference that maybe threw a little wrench into the momentum of Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker gets the 3 count, beats Seth Rollins in the opening match of Backlash, and secures the biggest win of his main roster run. The biggest singles win of his main roster run. I thought this match was really solid. Crowd was into it. The crowd was hot, minus the minor botches here and the minor botches there. I thought it was a very good match. It's going to get better. I don't know if they've ever worked together previously. I think they worked together once in NXT, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't really remember what they did down in NXT, but Rollins worked with Breaker once. Breaker's a little bit more seasoned now. This was the first time on the main roster. So I think it's going to get better from here on.
Every awakened being has a limit to their natural strength.
So, we don't know what WWE's plans are for the main event of SummerSlam. Usually, in previous years, especially with Triple H, he's given us the king and queen of the ring. I don't know if that's happening this year. With the announcement of the John Cena Invitational, I'm not sure if WWE is going to give us a John Cena tournament and then a King of the Ring and a Queen of the Ring tournament. That would be overkill. So what I want to say isn't really, I don't want to say isn't really, but what I want to say isn't something that may happen. I was thinking that if Breaker won here, we'd get another match, and maybe they would meet in the King of the Ring final. And Rollins would get his win back, because the final, the winner of that would go on to SummerSlam and get a World Heavyweight Championship title match in the main event of SummerSlam, being that we got Night 1 and Night 2. Rollins would get his win back in the King of the Ring, beat Braun Breaker, and then go and wrestle Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen with the announcement of the John Cena Invitational. This new tournament concept that John Cena announced today during this broadcast. This is certainly going to lead to another match. When and where, I don't know. We have Clash in Italy coming up. That would be a great environment to do this match. I'm sure the Italians would be all over it. I think there'll be great energy there. Maybe Rollins gets his win back in Italy. We got 3 weeks, so WWE may do it there. So we'll see what happens, but 21 minutes. I thought this was a very good open to the show, and Braun Breaker got the win. That was the right choice. Sami Zayn. He went one-on-one against Trick Williams. This was for the United States Championship. WWE had a solid story. They had a solid story with Sami Zayn and Trick Williams. It was as simple and as basic as you could ask for, and that's a good thing. The crafty veteran who wanted to humble the young, cocky, upstart NXT rookie who thinks he's bigger and better than everybody and proclaiming he's going to be the best thing that hit Friday night since The Rock. It was a very simple story to tell. And then you got Trick Williams getting in Sami's head, and Sami getting jealous, and Sami getting frustrated that even though he's a WrestleMania main event guy and he's got the veteran presence and he's a locker room leader, he can't seem to break through and get one over on the young upstart Trick Williams. Then all of a sudden, something happened in the SmackDown Writers' Room, whether it's Triple H or Michael Hayes or Bruce Pritchard or Vince McMahon via Zoom. I don't know. We got the inclusion of the Gingerbread Man. All of a sudden, Trick Williams starts calling Sami Zayn a human gingerbread man. And then we get a gingerbread man actual figure in this feud. A man in a gingerbread costume that they probably got on clearance at Spirit of Halloween. I don't know. We get the gingerbread man, and he's this mascot for Trick Williams, and it's being used as a vehicle to make fun of Sami Zayn. We went from WWE veteran being pushed around by NXT rookie, feeling jealous that the rookie's going to take his spot, and the veteran wants to humble the rookie. I guess that's too boring, according to WWE Creative. Then we get the Gingerbread Man. And everything revolves around the Gingerbread Man. We got wraps, we got glasses of milk, we got Lil Yachty carrying around a candy cane kendo stick. And then we get last night where Sami Zayn, 1 week ago, killed the Gingerbread Man. Ripped the Gingerbread Man's face off. Last night we got the funeral of the Gingerbread Man. It was more like the funeral of SmackDown because the segment was so fucking terrible, but we got the funeral of the Gingerbread Man. Only for the Gingerbread Man to be laid out in a casket in the middle of the ring, rise up from the dead, and be revealed as Lil Yachty. If you're asking yourself, man, did this really happen or is JD hallucinating? JD really must be on some wicked narcotics. No, this is real. I don't drink during these shows. I do indulge in a cold beverage every now and then, but I don't drink during work hours. I don't drink during these shows. I always come prepared and on my best for you guys. Yes, this actually happened. This is all legit. So we come to tonight. Sami Zayn wants the United States Championship back. Good news is that this was a good match. It was more along the lines of a TV match. I don't want to necessarily say it was premium, but it was a good match. Trick Williams is still coming into his own. I wasn't really feeling Trick Williams in ring completely. He'll get there. There's still some growing up to do. There's still some maturing to do. But it was solid enough for a United States Championship match on the undercard. The other good thing is that they almost went double the amount of time that they were given at WrestleMania. They went 14 minutes. Not bad. So that's a plus. We didn't have any gingerbread man nonsense. It was a straight-up wrestling match. Crowd was into it. This was solid stuff. Sami Zayn comes out all smiles. Trick Williams delivered a promo from the gorilla position. Remember when I said that there was a promo right before someone went out through the curtain for their match? Trick Williams got promo time with Kathy Kelly. Did they listen? We need to see more of that. Not right before they go out through in Gorilla. I would love something in the back, like, I like what Mean Gene used to do in the backstage area, in the locker room, getting their feelings about what they're about to go out there and do, how they're feeling about their title match. So I did like that they actually had a word with Trick Williams, and they gave Trick Williams a promo, and he commented on Sammy's fake demeanor. Trick says that he's nice to everybody. Sammy's being fake nice to everybody. Stop being fake nice. Stop being fake. So we got the entrances. Sammy got booed. Everybody loved Trick. Trick gained the early advantage. Leaping clothesline. Starts chopping Sammy. Sammy's in the corner. He starts putting the boots to him. And everybody's chanting, "Whoop that Trick." And all the boots that Trick Williams is delivering is in sync with the crowd chanting, "Whoop that Trick." I feel like that's going to become a thing. It should become a thing. It's cool. Sammy bailed to the outside. He regrouped a little bit. He then sends Trick into the steel steps to gain the early advantage here. We go back inside the ring. Sammy is being very aggressive. Crowd is booing him even louder. There are even chants of "Sammy sucks, Sammy sucks." There's something I like about Sammy being a heel and not really changing who he is. He's going out there and claiming that.
It was amazing being here in the lab and to see what's actually going on behind the scenes. We need the research. That's the roots of where I am today.
Your beloved pet is suddenly missing. Luckily, you have Google Fi Wireless, letting you chase down leads without losing focus or connectivity. And in the end, you find yourself saying, how did the turtle cover so much ground?
Big jumping sidekick. He looked to set up for his bookend. Guess Booker T kind of gifted him this maneuver. Sammy escaped. He was met with a big pump kick. Trick shot was attempted by Trick Williams. That was countered into a Blue Thunder Bomb setup, but Trick avoided it and answered with the eventual bookend. He goes for cover. He gets a near fall. Sammy then regained momentum. Sunset flip powerbomb off the top rope. He nailed it. Trick backs into the corner. Sammy set up for the haluva kick. Trick cut him off with a big kick of his own. Sammy, he gets up. He works his way into a Blue Thunder Bomb. He gets a cover, only a 2 count. So we got a leapfrog exchange here. Sammy ended up playing possum. He faked a knee injury. This allowed him to steal a small package. Thankfully, Trick kicked out of 2. Lil Yachty gets onto the ring apron and starts complaining to the referee about Sami Zayn's tactics, which are absolutely legal. Completely legal. I guess Lil Yachty needs to learn the fucking rules of the pro wrestling match. So, this created a distraction because he's an idiot. And Sammy, he struck Trick with a kendo stick. The candy cane kendo stick. He struck Trick with it. And Trick eventually went down. Sammy goes for a cover. He gets a 2 count. Sammy then puts the boots to Trick. Big time boos. Referee went to check on Trick. Lil Yachty got involved by hitting Sammy with the kendo stick now. Trick tried to capitalize with the big spinning big boot. He goes for a cover off the cyclone boot. 2 count. Sammy then is frustrated. He goes and sees Yachty at ringside. He attacks Yachty at ringside. Trick attempted to defend Yachty. Sammy cut him off with a DDT on the steel steps. So instead of going and actually taking advantage of this, Sammy went on to continue to attack Lil Yachty and gave him a haluva kick on the outside against the barricade. Sammy, he gets back into the ring. He sees Trick. He sets up for the haluva kick on Trick Williams. Trick avoided it. He rebounded off the ropes, connects with the Trick shot, 1, 2, 3, and Trick Williams pins Sami Zayn and retains the United States Championship. Again, it went 14 minutes. Good stuff. I wouldn't say it's premium, but it did what it needed to do. Trick Williams is a babyface. Sami Zayn is more heel than he was a week ago. And Trick Williams is still the United States Champion. I think that this is the right move. Trick Williams, over Femi, Javon Evans, Braun Breaker, those are your 4 pillars. The youth of the company really needs a rocket pack. You got it with Obi, you got it with Trick, you gotta reheat Braun Breaker, and Javon Evans, he'll get there. I think this is the right outcome. Sami Zayn, another loss to Trick Williams. Trick Williams retains the United States Championship. And please, no more gingerbread man. No more gingerbread man. We move over to the ESPN Unlimited app. The free hour is now completed. They start us off with Kit Wilson. Kit Wilson's theme plays, soon gives way to The Miz. So The Miz and Kit Wilson came out together. We got this really well done, and I will give them credit because this is where WWE usually shines. We got a very well done video package recapping the feud before Danhausen made his entrance in the Danhausen mobile. And he's got his clone machine on the stage in the aisleway. So, Danhausen comes out. He rides his car around the ring, down the aisleway, around the ring, and then back up the aisleway. He walks up the aisleway and stands in front of his clone machine. He starts knocking on the wooden box. We see these weird lights going on and off in the clone machine box. He knocks on the door. The front of the door falls off the box. We got a big plume of smoke coming out of it. And I was expecting Jelly Roll or CM Punk dressed in Danhausen face paint. What we got was a Triple H special. Neither one of those men were revealed as the mystery partner for Danhausen. Apparently, the mystery partner for Danhausen was somebody from AAA. Yes. It was someone from AAA, one of the mini Housens that we saw at WrestleMania. He basically cloned himself and it didn't go according to plan. Now, I don't know who this person was. If I can find it, I'll let you guys know. Apparently, it was someone from AAA. I'm trying to find the name here. If somebody has it, please let me know. I didn't even get a name. Who was it? Does anybody have a name for this guy? No, it wasn't Microman. No, it wasn't El Torito. No, it wasn't El Torito. I'm trying to find... Let me see if I can find it on... Let me see. Danhausen's partner. Backlash. Let's see. Real identity of Danhausen's mystery partner at Backlash. Supposedly, it was... Was it El Torito? Mascara Sagrada. It was El Torito. I didn't know it was El Torito. It was El Torito. El Torito was first seen in WWE from 2013 to 2016 and was the partner of Diego and Fernando Los Matadores. Wow, he's been in the industry for 26 years. Apparently, he's considered a legend in Mexico with stints in both AAA and CMLL. Torito returned to the company for Worlds Collide last year when WWE acquired AAA. Wow. I did not know it was El Torito. Either way, this is going to cause some division for sure. Now, I was very vocal about my displeasure for this on social media.
The path to a college degree is more affordable than you think. With Sophia Learning, you can take real college-level courses that are designed to transfer, fully online for just $99 a month. Start your free trial, no credit card required. Sophia Learning, built for you.
About it. My problem with something like this is not the context of what we got. Because if we got what we got tonight, and we got a full show, and we got 6, 7 matches, and we got this comedy match thrown in the middle of a 6 or 7 match PLE, it would look a little less annoying. It would feel a little less cringe. The fact that Triple H gave us 5 matches, and one of them was this, to me, I find that to be a problem. The fact that Triple H gave us this match, 2 matches of which were free, and the other 3 matches you're paying $30 to subscribe to the ESPN Unlimited app, I have a problem with this match being one of the matches you're actually paying for. That's where my problem comes from. Another one of my problems is we're seeing this a little too often in WWE. It's almost weekly. I said this last night. When Triple H first took over, we trusted Triple H. We gave him our trust. We had faith in Paul Levesque to guide the WWE to be a better product than what Vince McMahon was giving us. Triple H, we all looked at him to give us an adult-orientated, thought-provoking, storyline-filled product. We didn't look to Triple H to give us El Torito and a bunch of mini-Housens coming out of a fucking wooden crate to be Danhausen's tag team partner against Kit Wilson and The Miz. I have a problem with that. We're seeing a little bit too much comedy. We're seeing a little too much campy comedy. The comedy that Vince McMahon got on his show and laughed at to entertain himself. That's what I have a problem with. This is not what we signed up for. Danhausen's all over these shows every Friday night. He's got 2 or 3 segments each and every Friday night. Now he's getting PLE matches. Bro, if you thought that this was premium, then you need your head examined. I'm not sitting here telling you can't laugh at it, or you can't find enjoyment in it, or you can't be entertained by it. But the logistics of it are fucking just completely off the charts. I don't want to watch a match like this when I'm already given half of a fucking card. I don't want this to be one match of a 5-match PLE. If you want to give me this type of match, then you gotta load the show up with another 2 or 3 matches so that this match can stand on its own. It looks terrible when you give me a 5-match PLE and this one match is on the show. But you couldn't give me Rhea Ripley, or Charlotte Flair, or Liv Morgan, or Fatal Influence. You couldn't give me Gunther, or LA Knight, Carmelo Hayes, Ilya Dragunov, Penta, Ethan Page, Javon Evans. Bro, this is what I have a problem with. Danhausen is not a premium act. Danhausen is not an act I want to watch on a PLE. Unless it's a situation where you load the show up with 7 or 8 matches and you want to give me this as a bathroom break or a in-between match to break up the fucking flow of shit going on. People don't understand where I'm coming from. This is what I mean. I'm not sitting here saying you can't find enjoyment in this. WWE has given us some of the worst creative in the last 18 to 24 months. And you want me to sit here and fucking glowingly praise this type of match on WWE when we're all sick and tired of this type of product that they are providing us? Commercials and comedy and campy comedy, Danhausen, and commercials and celebrities. Bro, get down to business. Get down to business. Why can't we get 7 matches that resemble Asuka and Io and then give me this one match? I'd be a little bit more understanding. How about we don't do any of this comedy shit, and then you want to break it out every once in a while? Fine. But you want me to sit there and praise this shit and act like some fucking shill because it's Danhausen, when we just got done with SmackDown and a fucking Gingerbread Man segment that was fucking deplorable. We went from Friday and the Gingerbread Man funeral into fucking this slop. Bro, back-to-back nights is a problem. You're doing you're doing it a little too frequently. Scale this shit back. There's no problem with something like this if done in moderation. There's no problem with something like this if it's in between a full, substantial card, not on a show that has 5 matches, and one of the 5 matches being this, 2 of which you gave away for free. Theoretically, your PLE consists of 3 matches, with one of it being campy comedy. Think. This is not premium. Danhausen shouldn't be on a PLE, especially in this situation under these circumstances. He shouldn't be on a PLE, period. It's fucking terrible. Yeah, you're gonna have people laughing, ha ha ha, I was entertained. The one excuse I saw up and down my Twitter wall tonight on social media was, well, the paying audience in attendance was entertained. Look at the reaction they got. People booed when El Torito was in the ring. People booed because they wanted something else. You hyped up a mystery partner. You hyped up a mystery partner for 24 hours. Not even 24 hours. This was 2 weeks. You ran with this for 2 weeks. How do you think people are going to feel when you give them something that is going to go over as this did? You're going to get boos. People are expecting a big name. People are expecting a big surprise. People are expecting something completely out of the blue. You give us El Torito. He got justifiably booed because people wanted something else. And you let the fans down. You can't do that.
found something in the store.
Okay. What did you find?
A place. I found a place. It's like a maze. It just goes on and on. Sometimes I'm scared I'll get lost.
I've never been out this far. There's something else in here. Steven! Get away from me!
Hello?
Is that because I get ESPN Unlimited because I'm a paying Verizon Fios customer. I don't care either way. I'm gonna do my job regardless. But I don't give a fuck what the paying audience thinks. Who gives a shit what they think? If it was something else, WWE would tout fucking record-breaking this, and we only pay attention to the people in attendance. You sound like one of them. They don't realize when I get a response like that, man, block. Block, hidden, and ignored, and completely just away from me. Bro, you sound like one of these fucking soulless, lifeless suits and ties at TKO. Oh, but the paying audience enjoyed themselves. I'm sorry, who gives a shit? It doesn't belong on a PLE. I had 2 buddies of mine text me, legitimately saying, what the fuck am I watching? It's not premium. I think we can all agree with that. It's not premium. So Danhausen teams with El Torito. They called him Minihausen tonight. This went 11 minutes. He got no reaction from the live audience. He actually got booed. Minihausen surprised both Miz and Kit Wilson with a springboard headbutt and a pair of head scissor takedowns that sent Miz and Kit Wilson to the floor. Minihausen then launched himself off of Danhausen's shoulders with a big flying crossbody to the outside. Miz and Kit Wilson eventually cut Minihausen off and used offense and regained control. They taunted Minihausen. They got booed. Minihausen eventually avoided a big shoulder charge in the corner, sending Kit Wilson crashing into the ring post. He followed up with a moonsault, allowing him to make the hot tag to Danhausen. Crowd popped for Danhausen when he got into the match. Big Manhattan drop, atomic drop, Northern Light suplex, corner-to-corner clotheslines. Danhausen stopped to catch his breath and then does this weird thing where he starts hulking up. He followed up with a satellite DDT on The Miz for a near fall. Danhausen set up for a big running boot. Kit Wilson jumped in front of The Miz to save his partner. Minihausen comes in with a Frankensteiner that sent Wilson to the outside. He followed that up with a suicide dive. Kit Wilson then backed away from Minihausen before kicking him and throwing him back into the clone box. So they're up the aisleway. He's brawling with Minihausen. He throws him into the clone box, picks up the door, shuts it, and then is relieved that he got rid of Minihausen. All of a sudden, the box starts to come to life again. The lights start flickering, and all of a sudden, we see the box fall. The front of the box falls forward. The door falls off. Minihausen comes out. We all thought that. This is where I thought like Jelly Roll or fucking CM Punk would come on out. Minihausen comes on out, and then we have 6 other Minihausens run out, and they are beating up Kit Wilson in the aisleway. So we got multiple Minihausens attacking Wilson. This was just utterly ridiculous and stupid. And if you found any of this funny, you're a complete half-witted idiot. Honestly. This is just complete garbage. Minihausen threatened to place a curse on him. We're back in the ring. Wilson was about to get cursed, but he held up his mirror. And he held up his mirror in front of Minihausen, who tried to curse him. So the curse bounced off the mirror, supposedly, and now cursed Minihausen. JD, you want some hallucinogens? No, this actually happened on the PLE. Miz comes from behind and hit Minniehausen with a skull-crushing finale. Danhausen broke up the pin. Danhausen attempted to use a fire extinguisher, but because of his own curse, the fire extinguisher malfunctioned. Miz couldn't spray it, so like a dummy, he puts the hose, the nozzle of the fire extinguisher up in the air, and he fire extinguishes his face. Danhausen recovered, he connected with a big running boot, and he pinned the Miz 1, 2, 3. This went 11 minutes. We left Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, Fatal Influence, Liv Morgan, Bayley, Carmelo Hayes, Ilya Dragunov, Penta, Dominic, Finn Balor, Ethan Page, Javon Evans, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Gunther. We left all of these talents off the show so that Danhausen and El Torito can go 11 minutes on a premium live event. We made budget cuts after WrestleMania where over 24 talents got cut. We asked several lower-level talents to take a 50% pay cut so that we can bring in El Torito to team with Danhausen on a premium live event. I'm not saying you can't enjoy this type of thing, but if you are so stupid enough to deny that this has no place on a premium live event, and that this isn't a fucking bigger problem than you're letting on, then you really need to go get yourself examined. Seriously. This shit sucks. Too much Danhausen. Danhausen's gonna overstay. He's already overstayed his welcome. Friday Night SmackDown is in the state that it's in because we got 2 or 3 different segments with fucking Danhausen on it. We just came out of the Gingerbread Man's funeral to do this slop on a PLE, back-to-back nights. At what point are you going to start pointing the finger of blame at the people in charge? Have they clocked the fuck out? Have they given up completely? Have they thrown in the white towel? Or is Vince McMahon back booking from the fucking grave? Which is it? The more and more I see this shit, there's something going on that we are not privy to. This is not what we signed up for. This is not what we trusted Triple H to give us. This does not belong in a premium live event. Io Sky versus Asuka. Grudge match. This was the best thing on the entire.
If anyone knows security, it's me, which is why I like Google Fi Wireless, a phone plan that has industry-leading security, so I can give a damn about my day without worrying about anything else. Google Fi Wireless. Switch today. Come back anytime, unless you're a termite.
Which is rather odd. Normally they would dumb down those types of chants. This was the best thing on the entire show, and they delivered a WrestleMania-esque performance. Shocking, I know. Why wasn't this allowed to be on WrestleMania again? Oh, that's right. Danhausen and the Minniehausens needed a segment with John Cena. Oh. Yeah, it's a problem. We want Kyrie chants began as the match started. Io. She got some offense early, hits a sliding trip-up. Basement drop kick to Asuka. She connected with a Meteora in the corner. Asuka, she took control. She stopped Io's Asai moonsault attempt, sending her crashing upside down into the ring post. and she starts beating up on Io. Asuka wrestled very good here tonight. This was a very refreshed Asuka. This was a renewed Asuka. I haven't seen Asuka wrestle with this type of flair in many, many, many months. So, she got a big roundhouse kick, some stiff strikes, kept Io grounded. Io attempted a babyface comeback. Asuka cut her off every chance she got early on. Big kick to the chest. Io finally starts to get something happening here. Rolled through, double stomp, fires up some of her signature uppercuts, a missile drop kick, bullet train in the corner. Crowd is getting into it very slowly. Asuka comes back, reversing a double underhook suplex attempt, and then delivering some big strikes, some signature strikes to Io. We got a bridging German suplex by Io. That was countered into a wrist lock by Asuka, and then into an armbar by Asuka. Io gets out of it. Spinning kick. Both women are doubled down as they both kick each other down. Asuka took control again with a jumping Asuka lock. Then she transitioned into a armbar exchange with Io. Io managed to roll free. She briefly got Asuka in her own version of the Asuka lock. She then attempted a top rope Frankensteiner. Asuka countered into a roll-through sunset flip for a very believable near fall. Asuka missed a hip attack into the ropes and drop-kicked out to the floor. Io attempted a suicide dive, but Asuka, she blocks that with a big forearm strike. So now they're on the announce desk. They're right by Michael Cole and Wade Barrett. Asuka, she's standing in front of Io on the commentary desk, and she's getting ready to spit the blue mist into Io's face. Io picks up Wade Barrett's notepad, this notepad folder. She picked it up and blocked her face with Wade Barrett's notepad. Asuka spits the blue mist onto the notepad, and Io blocked the blue mist, which was a very creative spot. I thought that was awesome. So she blocked it, smashing Asuka face first, then into the table. Io followed with a big cross body off the table. She attempted the Asai moonsault back in the ring. Asuka avoided it, trapped her in a triangle choke, and then transitioned into an armbar and then into the Asuka lock, and it looked like Io was going to fade. She rolled backwards, she got a pinning combination on Asuka, and she kicks out at a 2. They then go back and forth in a striking exchange. They're fighting up from their knees. They traded German suplexes. Io finally gets free. She fires up, connects with the bullet train, and she scored off the top rope with the over the moonsault. 1, 2, 3. Io wins and beats Asuka. This match went 18 minutes, and Io beats her mentor in the match of the night, in my opinion. I thought this was excellent. Really good stuff here. Now, after the match was over, Io and Asuka embraced. Asuka then started crying. She hugged Io, and this was not heel Asuka. This was not heel Asuka at all. I wonder if this is Asuka's last match in WWE. Now, I don't know, I'm just speculating, but Asuka put something on social media today. She posted a picture of her looking out what looks to be her hotel window, and she left verses. I don't know if this is from a poem or a song, but the verses that she posted read as follows. And now, the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. I guess this is Frank Sinatra. And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear. I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I've traveled each and every highway. And more, much more than this, I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few. But then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do, and I saw it through without exemption. I planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. God, I love Asuka even more so now that she's a Frank Sinatra fan, huh? Okay. I didn't know what she posted until I just read it. I'm like, all right, it's fucking My Way by Frank Sinatra. I don't know what the future holds for Asuka. Is Asuka's contract up? Was Asuka approached to take a 50% pay cut and she opted to say no? Did they give her and grant her release? And did she take her release and now will sit out 90 days? How heartbroken was she when Kyrie got released? How frustrated was she when Kyrie got released? We don't know. Normally, we as fans, we get a feeling. And sometimes that feeling and that intuition is exactly what it is. Asuka was very unlike herself because Asuka's been a stone cold heel for months. She just wrestled one hell of a match with somebody that is a lifelong friend. Asuka crying is not what we look at as far as the character of Asuka that we see on television. So when fans speculate that maybe this is Asuka's last ride in WWE, maybe this is Asuka's last match in WWE, maybe this is Asuka retiring. We don't know. But it certainly felt that way. She made it feel that way by crying in the middle of the ring. I wonder how different this would be if Kyrie was involved, which a lot of people are still upset about, because she was the centerpiece of this entire angle. We'll see what becomes of this, but this was a tremendous match, and I thought these two ladies killed it. The one thing I love about this is the fact that it's very rare when we get a mid-card program with...
The path to a college degree is more affordable than you think. With Sophia Learning, you could take real college-level courses that are designed to transfer fully online for just $99 a month. Start your free trial, no credit card required. Sophia Learning, built for you.
Asuka did it brilliantly, which goes to show you how great Asuka and Io really are. This was great stuff. John Cena. John Cena had a major announcement that he said would shake the foundations of WWE. He said it would be an epic announcement. There was a report that WWE was going to send John Cena out there to detail what Club WWE was going to be. Now, he did do that, as they taped a very well put together vignette telling us everything that we're going to get if we sign up for Club WWE. I don't know what it is to sign up. I don't know what the cost of it is to be a part of Club WWE. I have not signed up. I probably will not sign up. I don't give a shit. It's not for me. I'm not their target audience. That was the report from the dirt sheets. They included it in the show, but John Cena came out there tonight fully dressed out, beautiful blue pinstripe suit. He didn't mention anything about Club WWE. John Cena came down to the ring for his big WWE announcement at Backlash. And he talked about being excited about his new role, and he addressed the fans chanting, the fans in Tampa were chanting, "One more match, one more match." I don't know if I want to see John Cena wrestle one more match. So he went on to say, you know, I've been pondering what my next step in WWE would be. It's not one more match. He went on to say that he was truly happy with this final match because what was most important to him was the fact that his last show became a night of opportunity. Cena mentions Sol Ruka, Javon Evans, Oba Femi. People break into an Oba chant and they start barking. They all had stellar performances on that night. Cena does the Oba strut. He puts him over after beating Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Cena was also inspired by Saturday night's main event back in December, where NXT fought the best of Raw and SmackDown. So he says tonight, in this announcement, we are going to run it back. Cena is here to announce the John Cena Classic. Like the Mae Young Classic. The John Cena Classic. An entire event where the best of today's stars go to battle with the best from NXT. There's going to be a new event, and there will be a new championship coming to WWE. Cena is going to strive for a certain level of excellence and make this title special. Cena says the biggest superstar in the WWE is the WWE Universe. On top of a new event and a new championship, for the first time ever, your voice will be heard louder than ever before. For the first time in history, a superstar may not win a match, but with their grit, their hustle, and connection to the audience, they still could become the John Cena Classic Champion. It's a single event that embodies everything he stood for. Cena promises to make this event an annual tradition. Cena gives thanks to the NXT performers that performed on his last show that inspired him to make this event. Cena took a moment to thank everybody that came out to watch Backlash tonight and thank WWE for approving this crazy idea of his. Cena tells us that we'll see him at the John Cena Classic. Now, I don't really understand the need for this. We already have way too many championships in pro wrestling. All because John Cena's name is attached to it doesn't make it any more important than anything else. It's something to basically keep him actively involved with the company. Maybe this is something he wants. I doubt WWE is going to turn away a John Cena appearance or John Cena idea. If he wants to be involved in this way without actually being involved in the day-to-day or the training aspect of it, this is the next best thing for John Cena to be a part of the WWE. My problem with this is two things. I know a lot of people are going to be excited about this because it's new and we got a new title and it's NXT versus main roster, which is great. If it gives the audience the opportunity to see what NXT is cooking down there, then I'd love to see it. My problem with it is